that you could do the same thing with. And he pointed out it quickly becomes very expensive buying cardboard or plastic buildings to populate a scene. But you buy the laser printer or the laser cutter or the 3D printer or whatever, and you can print off as many as you want. All it's going to cost you is the consumables. In the case of the laser, you're going to be buying wood probably, or probably not card, definitely wood. And in the case, theoretically metal in some situations. And in the case of a 3D printer, it's the filament. But if you imagine a train station, 3D printing benches, you can have a dozen benches on a station. Now, for me to get some from England, it's going to cost me probably $15 for a pack of 20, and then it's going to cost me another $20 to post it through the mail to the US. That's $32 and 2-week wait. So, as I said, the costs can escalate quite severely when you're buying stuff from another country. And in my case, because I'm modelling UK railways, not US railways, a lot of stuff that's for sale in America is not appropriate to a UK scene. Now, obviously, grass and rocks and trees are pretty universal around the world, so that's not so much of an issue. But built things and manufactured things tend to be unique to the country that you're modelling. I mean, if I wanted to model France, the buildings are all completely different from UK buildings, from American buildings, and so there isn't, since there isn't the market for French buildings in American hobby stores, you can't find them here. So you have to make them. That was the nice thing about Shapeways when it existed, and unfortunately they went bankrupt, so they don't anymore. But I could order a 3D print of something that someone in the UK had created the file and was selling to primarily UK residents. I could buy that, and Shapeways would print it at their Canadian facility or US facility. And it's a local, the shipping was local rate shipping as opposed to international rate shipping. The cost of the widget was the same regardless of who I was buying it from. But that was useful, and unfortunately that facility has dried up, which is a shame. But it is what it is. Go again. Oh, we're not even halfway through. And we're coming up to 11 o'clock. So anyway, that's all my trials and tribulations at the moment. So we may be getting, as I said, a laser engraver and or a filament 3D printer to play around with. At the moment we got a Cricut, which will cut vinyl and cardboard and extremely thin pieces of wood, like less than 2 millimeters. So that's the wood I got from Hobby Lobby was stuff that's less than 2 millimeters thick. And the really thin stuff is somewhat flexible. And then, yeah, that's modelling world for me. And it'll be nice to see the layout getting a little bit more three-dimensional than it is at the moment. The original design, I did have thoughts of not building it flat, so a gradient up and a gradient down. But when it got to planning out the station area, I figured that needs to be flat because you don't need your trains rolling around the way while people are getting on or off them. And interestingly, I did run a measurement exercise this week as well. My station is big enough to take 10 passenger cars and the locomotive. Now that's getting on for realistic lengths of train. Now I think my longest train is 7 passenger cars and a locomotive. So, station is bigger than it needs to be. I'm okay with that. The more station you have, the less other expensive elements you have on the layout. At least once I've got, once I've got the station, at least the station dimensions planned out, I should be able to work on the freight yard, which is going to be interesting stuff. Missed a bit. Never mind. They'll never notice. I've kind of completed the initial tasks I wanted. I wanted by the end of the year to be able to run trains around the layout. Not necessarily have the layout look good, but run trains around. And over the course of this year, I've had I think by the end of February, I wanted all of the wood panels laid for track bed. We hit that one. We were about 2 days late. For I can't remember what the next bit was, but there was the end of June I wanted the second loop laid, and I think by the end of May I wanted the first. So end of May I wanted one track running. End of June I wanted 2 tracks running. And now we're into July and it's like I really don't have a hard goal to hit by the beginning of August. At the beginning of the month, as I said, is just going to be me trialling cutting bits of wood to make a platform structure out of. So that doesn't mean I'm going to have a station done by the end of this month, but it does mean that at least I'll know it's feasible and can be working on it. But until I get the platform structure proven and started, I can't really lay any more track. So if I prove the platform structure, it may be that it's so late in July, by the end of July I just want the platforms laid. But by the end of August I want the bay platform and adjacent siding laid, which is easy. I could do that now. I've got the track, I've got everything I need, but I need to know how wide the station needs to be. And if I've got the station structure assembled, then it gives me a much more precise guide to where the track needs to go. But the sort of the hazy goal this year was to have 2 trains running. Well, we've managed that by July. And if I hadn't had that goal, I probably still wouldn't have any trains running today. So that's the thing. Oh, it's snowing. I didn't notice the snow had started. I guess it's been snowing for 26 game minutes, which is really only 8.5. No, the temperature's 2 degrees, so the ground's not frozen. I was going to say, if we were playing Farm Sim 19 with Realismus's seasons, I would not be able to do this because it would be saying the ground's frozen, you're out of luck. So anyway, we'll change the angle. Maybe the auto thumbnail generator will give me a different selection. Otherwise we're just going to end up with a bunch of thumbnails with the back end of this tractor with a cultivator on it, just driving up and down. Anyway, better watch where I'm going. Hi.
Hi.
What's happening?
Nothing.
Oh, why not? See. What are you playing?
The Sims.
Again?
Yes.
With your cats and dogs?
Yes.
Peoples?
Yes. New chandeliers out there.
Oh, that's a lot of chandeliers.
Yes.
I see. Must admit, I did play The Sims when it first came out. The original Sims. Kind of fun. Sandboxy thing. Kind of like Farm Sim is a sandboxy thing. There are no... it's not like a RTS where, I've got to harvest resources, make stuff, and beat the AI or whatever.
There's lots, gave me a lot of new things.
With games like this, you tend to make your own goals. I have no idea what my goal is on this one. It was just It was the map I felt most comfortable playing, so it's the one I went with.
You should play The Sims when you're done.
I don't have a copy of The Sims. But, what are we gonna do? Oh yeah, and obviously the big news this week was the Scottish expansion for Farming Simulator 25. I have no idea what they're calling it. What has been the Platinum expansion in the past. So, as speculated last week, we are getting Highland cows with the big spiky heads and the fluffy coats, which is cool. And we're getting fish farming. So you grow baby fish in tanks in something akin to a greenhouse, and then you take them to the boat, you put them on the boat, and you sail the boat out to sea, and you throw the fish out, and you collect big fish. And I presume there's probably going to be some productions to do with big fish. There's some new equipment, although I didn't... Oh, there's a new crop. We're going to get onions as a crop. Which I think, with some of the mods in previous farm sims, it was carrots and onions were an option to feed your horses. So I don't know if onions will become a food source for animals, or... But also, the onions, I think the only thing we've seen of onions has been... Go here. Let's check back here. Oh, look, there's a nice big... Yeah, forage harvester thing. Let us go there, and... No, let us go... Harvesters. Root crops. Not really. Oh no, let's go vegetable crops. Vegetable harvesters. Something like this with a tank capacity on it. So you can harvest your onions, and there's a topper. Actually, it's a topper, digger, upper device that goes on the front. So if we go back to you kind of have something like that. Is there a potato? Yeah, these things don't have toppers anymore. But you have a thing that goes on the front of the tractor that digs up the onions and puts them in a windrow. I think. Cleans them. I can't remember, but it's basically a thing that two attachments, one on the front, one on the back, digs up the onions and windrows them. You can either windrow them to the left, to the right, or to the middle. So the theory is if you windrow them to the left or right, you're dropping them out one side, and then you come the other way and you drop them out and double up your windrow. That's the theory, I guess. And then a picker-upper, but they're all tractor-hauled. They're not, at least the ones we've seen, are not self-driving. Self-driving is a whole different meaning these days. Should I really say self-propelled? That was it. Yes, they have an engine in them, kind of like all of the harvesters we have for all of the newer crops, like spinach and peas and beans. But they're all 500,000 and there is no entry level harvester for those crops. And that's a shame, because sometimes it's nice to just have a tractor and a small thing and just do small small farming things. Anyway, so that's what's coming. New map, which will be good. The Scottish Highlands. Okay, I did that row already. So now I want to do, oh, this is difficult, that one. Yes, thank you. So 10 after 11. I am going to set the target. This episode we will complete cultivating this field and get paid for it. Then I'm going to have lunch. Probably take me another 30-40 minutes to get this done. So we can waffle on about more stuff, I guess. Yeah, it's kind of, that's all the updates from recent times. So what are we going to do next week? I think the plan will be, now that we got all the sorghum sold, I think the farm is probably good to head out to springtime and planting season and maybe some other bits and pieces. Oh, that's good. I still haven't looked at the sheep after all this time. Okay. Let's do that. Let's have a look at the sheeps. So we have 20, 40s. We got 80 sheeps now.
80 sheeps.
And we have 31 food. So I managed to get the food up completely filled using wrapped grass bales. And then it topped off with sort of meadow forage from the field.
It's a whole bunch of sheep.
And we've got about half a tank of water left. I've got 40 goats.
Oh. It's not as many, but that's still a lot of goats.
Yes. So our animal farming is coming on fine. We do have the achievement for making baby sheep. That's good. And goat milk is quite excellent too. Go. Just don't know how much we have sitting in our yard now because it's been a while. But we can sell the wool now that I've added that sell point. think I know why that. So this row highlighted because I haven't done it yet. I think the 1, 2 to the right, I started at the other end of the field, but the headland encroaches in at that point. So, so while I did that entire row, it didn't count this end as something I had engaged or engaged the GPS on. Now that I've engaged the GPS on this row, it will no longer highlight. And the reason why row number 3 heading diagonally to the top, to the left side of the field as we're looking at it, doesn't highlight is because I've accidentally engaged GPS while one of the across the field rows was highlighted, and it decided, no, I'm going to go up the field. So I bet if I turn around at this end, there is not going to be a highlighted row here. Yeah. So that 1, 2 to the right, see, I engaged it there, but the number 3 headland cuts into it, so it doesn't count as a continuous row across the field. But in general, it's a good way to know where you've been if there is no visual representation of you having done a thing. So with cultivating, we're changing the texture of the ground, which is a visual thing. So technically I could do this manually if I wanted to. I do not need guidance steering on it. Whereas sometimes we'd have to come back here and weed this field. There's no weeds on the field. I do not know where I've been. So you end up with the worker doing that for you because the worker does know where